Hey everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here with another graphic novel review where I'm going to be talking about two volumes of the same series, Secret Six Volumes 2 and 3. Volume 2 begins with Bane joining the Secret Six, and the team is hired by a West Coast crime boss to break a supervillain known as Tarantula out of prison on Alcatraz Island because Tarantula stole a get out of hell free card from said crime boss. The next major story arc in Volume 2 involves the Secret Six being hired by a man known as Mr. Smythe, who is constructing what he hopes will be the only supervillain prison in the world. And while he's building this prison, we find out that Smythe is apparently holding the Amazon known as Artemis and a number of other Amazons as prisoners and slaves. The Secret Six then turn on Smythe, and they free the Amazons, and they also briefly team up with Wonder Woman, and the mission ends with Deadshot murdering Smythe. Okay, Volume 3 kicks off with the Secret Six having a run with the Suicide Squad, and who attempt to trap the Six and arrest them, and also try to get Deadshot back onto the squad. However, the teams are forced to work together when they are attacked by a fleet of Black Lanterns. Yep, this is the story arc that ties the Secret Six into Blackest Night. Also in this volume, the character known as Black Alice, who can mimic the powers of any magic user in the DCU, joins the Six, who replaces Scandal Savage after Bane takes command of the team and deems that she's unfit for field work. Next story arc, Catman gets a call that Cheshire has been beaten to death and their son, Thomas Blake Jr., has been kidnapped. Now, instead of immediately looking for his son, Catman just basically goes after the guys who did it and just straight up murders them. Ultimately, though, Catman finds out that his son is alive, but he's been adopted by a childless couple in secret. So Blake decides that this is better off for the kid, and he calls Cheshire and tells her that the boy's dead. And that's basically what happens. Alright, the best way... let me just say that Secret Six, this series is awesome. The best way I can describe it is it feels a lot like Suicide Squad, where we have a bunch of supervillains teaming up, but there's no government oversight. I mean, really, the Secret Six are still a team. Basically, the concept of the Secret Six is that these are bad guys who are willing to do whatever job they will take, whatever job, good or bad, just as long as they get paid. Even though at the end of Volume 2, Bane mentions that most of their jobs ended the disaster and not getting paid, which is hilarious. Alright, the cool thing about this series is it's written by Gail Simone, and she's awesome at writing these characters because she makes each team member unique and feels like each one brings something different to the table. However, though, I will say that I feel the character that is the real breakout star of the series is Catman. Catman's and in my opinion, he's also my favorite character on the team. I mean, he's very interesting in that most of the time he has this sort of sense of honor in him, but ultimately, if he's pushed to the edge, like as we've seen in this volume, and during the story arc promptly titled Cats in the Cradle, if he's pushed too much, he will give into his savage nature. Even though Catman isn't the main character of the team, each member does get their own moment in the spotlight. I mean, these books aren't just the major story arcs that I mentioned. In between each major story arc, each team member is kind of given like their own sort of. Well, most of the time, each team member is kind of given like their own little one-shot story that focuses on that character, and I really think that's great. The way it's written like this. Overall, if you love teams of supervillains that they're not really supervillains. I don't know why I'm saying that term. They really are more of like complicated anti-heroes. So, you know, if you like teams of morally ambiguous anti-heroes such as Suicide Squad, or if you're excited for the Suicide Squad movie, I would definitely recommend you check these series out. I mean, even though I do reference Suicide Squad mainly because I think it's a very accurate comparison between the two, especially when you realize the connection between the person who usually gives them jobs, Mockingbird, that character's connection to Amanda Waller. Just saying. So yeah, overall, if you like stories like Suicide Squad, or with very very dark characters that aren't really villains but act more like anti-heroes, then I would say you should definitely check this series out. So that's it for me. Thank you again for watching. Let me know if you like this video. Spider-Man 991 saying see you later, and thank you for subscribing.